happening? Okay. So it is September 27th. There's 5 weeks left in 2022. Okay. It's been one hell of a year. So we're going to go over the overall markets real quick, kind of break down bearish, bullish scenarios, what we could look forward to, what to be aware of, and major things I think we should be, paying attention to, right? So first and foremost, one of the major things we should be paying attention to for sure is this 200 EMA, right? So again, don't forget this, right? This is back in 2008, 2009 when we had this massive collapse and we stayed under the 200-day EMA for like a significant period of time. I don't want to rule that out because of, simple macroeconomics, right? And again, like, to be honest, I don't know what's going on in the world. Like, anything could happen, right? Russia Ukraine drama going on. Things can go south real quick, right? I pray to God no nukes or nothing gets dropped, or I hate to see this shit happen, but like, if a nuke were to happen, like, what do you think's gonna happen to the markets, right? It'll probably affect them drastically. And I don't know, like, that's kind of the big bearish case, is the fact that, like, there's so much uncertainty right now how inflation is affecting people, right? So we've seen, like, at the beginning of this year, our savings have, like, as a whole, like, you could say the US, there was a stat I seen that, like, US savings was the highest it's ever been at the beginning of this year, and now it's the complete opposite, where it's like savings is pretty much as low as it's been. So that, what does that tell you, right? Like, people are spending money that they can't really save, right? Like, people are spending that money because of the prices of things increasing. So this all, of course, all this macroeconomic shit affects markets. So it's tough to pay attention to, and that is why there is such an uncertainty in the markets right now. It's all this drama. So how I try to simplify it is by looking at these charts and coming up with a plan, right? So we have this major trend line that's been holding us back since November-ish and January. Major, we'll say January or December, right? So beginning of this year, 1, 2, 3, we're here again, right? This is the fourth time we're here. This is our resistance zone. Things are starting to shape up. We're getting a bounce off of this 200 EMA, right? Pretty nice bounce. We've come back to the levels that we were at back in 2020, right? So back in October, right? This is mid-October, we came and revisited this 3,400 level on the SPX, S&P 500 index. And now we've got a decent bounce coming off of that. So you see that, like, it's getting a little tight in this range here. And now what we need to be aware of is there going to be a potential, we hang around here and then we get dropped down, right? Just like the 2008 scenario with really bad news that's going on in the market, and we get brought down to these levels, right? Again, this is the same drawdown as 2008. So if we were to go down, right, and make a, from the very top, a 49% dip, that would bring us down to 2430. So this is what we want to pay attention to in the next couple months. If things are going to collapse into those levels. But for bullish case, right, look at this volume here. We don't really see much very high increase in bull volume. We want to see that pick up. We need to see that pick up if the bull case is happening, right, that we're going to get this breakout. We battle this resistance zone that's held us as support once, a few times here, a few times there, and then resistance, resistance, resistance. Maybe we'll battle this again. So what would we be looking for if we were going to battle that zone? Well, we would see a breakout of this trend line, a back test, and maybe slowly weakening down this zone before we get the push higher. So that is the bullish case for what I'm looking at on the S&P 500, right? So it's important what's happening now, just because, look at this trend line that's been holding us back. It's important to pay attention to this. It will be significant once we break up over it. But something I also want to mention, right? Like here, we'll go to the NASDAQ too, just to, before we move any further, right? Pretty similar here on the NASDAQ, right? We'll get this out of the way to make it a little bit more clear. But We've come back to these levels that we were in 2020. We're holding the 200 EMA right now, but we need to see, right? Like, how much longer are we going to hold it? Is this going to be, we come to this trend line here and we get brought down again? Could that potentially happen where we have this long period of time, just like 2008 and 2009, where we hang under the 200 EMA for a long period of time? Could happen. I don't want to rule any of that out. And that would probably that would be the opportunity, right? Part of me thinks it won't happen because I think that would be too easy. In my opinion, that would be way too easy, right? I think the hard trade right now is if we go up from here. I think that's the hard part because throughout this year, all the drama that's happened, right? Never mind crypto. Think about what's going on in the world, like other shit. Like we have the supply and demand goods, supply goods or whatever, shipping and handling. That's pretty much shit, right? Because of COVID, right? All that stuff has been halted up, right? Especially around China, you could see that, right? Russia, Ukraine, all this drama. There's so much inflation. Right? Housing market has taken a pretty decent decline, right? All this stuff, what's happening, right? All of this drama. Now, if we were to go up, would fake everybody out. Like everybody. The only people who would probably reward from that were the people who were dollar cost averaging, throughout this bear market. And I think that this bear market really scared the shit out of a lot of people, especially the ones who got involved in crypto too. So it's about this, like what I'm trying to get, the point I'm trying to get across is that the mindset of investing is the opposite of what people would usually do because people have their emotions tied to their money. So if you take away the emotions, right now could be a good time to invest. There is potential downside. Of course, still, there's always potential downside. But if the market were to want to make an absolute fake out move, I think it would start the bull run now. That's my opinion. My opinion is pretty much trash, right? It doesn't matter what my opinion is. What matters is what's going to happen in the future. So these are a few things I want to pay attention to. I've been rambling a little bit, but again, similar thing on the NASDAQ to the S&P. We get that breakout, people might not be paying attention. And that would be the fake out, is if we slowly grind from here. But if the opportunity brings us down towards this way, right? That would be the prime buying opportunity, especially if you're a long-term investor. So I think we got good things coming. Let's look at, right? This is the Dow Jones, right? We've got that breakout on the Dow. 1, 2, 3. We hung around here for a bit. Look at this, right? We're starting to recover here on the Dow. That's interesting to me, man. What happens if, the NASDAQ is just a little bit behind and it wants to catch up? Same with S&P, right? So when we look at Apple, right, this is just a market leader, right? Look at how much Apple has to push up higher, right? It has a lot of room to make gains in the next few weeks and months. So that would help drive the market a little bit higher because of its huge market cap. So what I'm trying to say is that the opportunity is definitely amongst us right now. I think in the next few months that, if you're paying attention in the next few months, you're going to be blessed. That's kind of what I've come as a conclusion. But I do think it is important, right? Be aware the negatives, the positives, and position yourself. Because I do think that the ones who are dialed right now, we're going to be rewarded significantly. So that's the overall market breakdown here on the S&P, NASDAQ, and the Dow. Peace.